Hey everybody, this is the Aggressively Medium podcast with Lee and Josh.
You got a new hat on. Hoagie, is that like the sandwich? Hooey.
Hooey.
What was that?
Like, hooey.
The Cowboys do that?
Yeah, Cowboys do that. Yeah, bro. I'm
Well-
straight up, I'm a cowboy.
Well, it's episode 53.
It is 53 indeed.
This is a tornado warning episode.
Yeah.
Because at any point during this, we could have the sirens go off.
Yeah. So we are filming this on Thursday, so the day before it comes out.
Yep.
And we're under, tornado warning. What I looked at last night said, James Spann said, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but from what you saw, is the opposite, correct?
Yeah, but I'm not 100% sure about the validity of my source.
What about the barometric?
The little pressure thing.
Tell us about that.
So I've got a girl that works for me who lives she's from Miami, and they've been Miami, Florida, bottom of the country.
Well, the Keys.
Yeah, pretty bottom.
Yeah.
They use it for hurricanes. Have used it for years. It's some kind of barometric pressure gauge that, like, throw that into a bigger formula and it'll give you, like,
How bad it's supposed to be.
how bad it could be.
Uh-huh.
And it's out of 14. And
April 27th was
when we had the bad tornadoes years ago, we were at she went back and looked at it last night, and then we were at an 11 out of 14.
which seems pretty high.
Yeah. Last night at midnight, we were at a 14 for today.
Yeah. So we're topping it out. We're giving her all she's got.
This is the most possible
Yeah.
bad it could get.
Good.
So,
So you got your baseball helmets ready, or your
oh my gosh.
soccer helmet, or whatever they
A
use?
soccer helmet. I have a sparring helmet.
You have a sparring
boxing.
helmet. Just the soft.
No, Anna asked me, like, because we had this same crap last week.
Yeah. Which we were so we filmed last week before last week for spring break. Mm-hmm. The week before spring break, we filmed it,
Yeah.
and so we weren't even around each other for that.
No, you weren't even in the same state.
Yeah, I wasn't in Alabama.
Yeah.
I was in Alabama.
Were you? I thought y'all were in New Orleans.
We're in Mobile
Did y'all go to New Orleans?
at some point. Yeah,
Huh.
like later in the week.
Oh. Well, you weren't in the city.
Yeah, I was not in the city.
We weren't in the same place.
Yeah.
So last week when it was coming, Anna asked if I needed to go get helmets.
Yeah.
And I said
Because
no.
she's noticed your mental decline. I think that's what.
Well,
I think it was more about that than it was about the tornadoes.
She noticed Instagram where some people we know that aren't meteorologists,
James Spann.
no, they're not, went and got helmets.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And she's like, we need to go get helmets.
Yeah, I saw a surprising number of people last week.
Well, it's
that
because
were,
James Spann said have a helmet.
well, he says that every time.
I know, but
it could
people-
be like a light rain outside, and he's going
Well,
to say, "Get you a."
He's better about it than that. But so I told Anna no,
Of course.
because if I bought helmets, they would be bicycle helmets.
Yeah.
And if you've ever looked at a bicycle helmet, it's styrofoam and plastic.
Yeah.
And I think that if that helmet, if something falls on my head and that helmet protects me, my skin will do the same thing.
So, I agree and disagree.
But if I have the helmet on and a roof,
Falls on you.
I'm gonna be dead with a helmet on.
So, I've done a little bit of biking, and one of the nastiest falls that I had, I hit my head real hard. And if I wouldn't have had that helmet on, it probably would have been lights out for a little while. At least like knocked me out. And so It is just styrofoam, but
It's got one hit on it.
It's got one. Yeah, if you fall with a bicycle helmet on, you're supposed to throw it away. Never use it again because it's
styrofoam and plastic.
Yeah. Well, it's but the way that they put the styrofoam is supposed to disperse the weight of what or the force of whatever's hitting you.
I got it.
But yeah, I agree. If I am in a closet and a roof falls on me, I get bigger problems.
Yeah.
I feel like doing this, like putting my
if a
arms
ceiling
above my
joist hits me in the head, they're just gonna have to cut that helmet off of me at the morgue.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I've had drywall, like a whole thing of drywall and insulation fall on me, like in a fire, and with a helmet on.
well,
And
y'all aren't wearing bicycle helmets.
they don't have any foam in them. I tell you that. It's just like a
It's like
net.
a construction worker helmet.
Yeah. It's kind of like a net that goes inside of it. But I mean, it'll hit you and you feel it. But if sure enough, like a 2x4 comes down and hits me, it's probably not going to be fun either way.
Right.
But like I said, I feel like shielding myself like this,
Right.
like putting my arms over my head, is probably going to be a better.
Yeah. And I'm not, I mean, you remember in school when you'd have a tornado drill, you go out
Get
in
in
the
the
hall
door
and
frame.
duck. No, well, in school, we'd
That
all
was an
go
earthquake.
go out in the hallway
Yeah, duck and cover.
and you get on your knee, you get in the fetal position.
Yeah, so you can kiss
My
your
head's
own,
not-
you can kiss your butt goodbye. is what-
My head's not exposed.
yeah, I think all that was just like a false sense of security.
Yeah.
That's
It's
kinda
like when they did bombing stuff in the 50s and 60s.
Oh yeah,
And
like
they
if there's
told
a
you to get
bomb,
under your
Yeah,
desk.
get under the desk. Yeah. Yeah, that desk is structurally more sound than the building that you're in. It will protect you.
It was just for it was
Yeah,
it
it's
was for
like
peace of
oxygen
mind.
masks on airplanes.
Yeah.
Just get you high a little bit before you
Yeah.
crash into
You
the
get your
ground in a fireball.
good big thing of oxygen in your lungs as you disintegrate.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I've never been much for like getting. I've been inside, or a tornado went over the top of our house one time when I was younger. I was probably 16, something like that, and you could feel the whole house like shaking and rattling. And my mom was in the living room, and I had a couple buddies over. And all of a sudden, I just heard you felt it shaking, and then you knew it was a bad weather day already. But then you hear my mom yell, "Everybody get in the bathroom!"
Yep. In the tub with a mattress.
Yeah, and I was currently in the bathroom, using the bathroom.
You was pooping?
I was pooping, and so everybody got to hang out with me.
They'd be like
while I was-
going like that guy from Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
It'd be like that.
Yeah. Just everybody was in there with me, and we all would have passed away while I was pooping. Another thing that people, and so Meg's sister has been in town, and they are from New Orleans. They don't deal with tornadoes at all, ever. They deal with hurricanes, and so their thought is always like, "Where are we going to go? What are we going to?" Because that with something like that, you leave your home and you go shelter somewhere else away from.
Beforehand.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to a shelter for 6 hours just to sit and wait a storm out, because in most cases, if you live in a home, not a mobile home, not a trailer, not an RV, but if you're inside a home, you're going to be safe from the roof will blow off your house. If a tornado comes through,
Unless it barrels through your front door.
well, even then, if it's not April 27th, where you've got a mile wide, like F-17
Yeah.
tornado coming through town, it's not going to completely obliterate your house.
For the most part. Most of the time.
Most tornadoes.
And if it is, it's your time.
Yeah. And we were talking about this the other day. Did you know Alabama has more tornadoes per capita than Oklahoma? We are more susceptible to tornadoes, but just like Oklahoma has a tons of tornadoes, but very rarely
They're
do
all
they.
like ones and twos.
Well, they're also, you've got a whole like land mass. Like this is a big. So if this was Oklahoma or Alabama, even, so you've got Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Huntsville, Mobile, Montgomery, that are very highly populated areas. You're talking about a tornado is probably going to be smaller than the size of a pin,
On
the
your
tip of
phone,
a pin
yeah.
on my phone, and then it's got to hit somewhere where there's actually people.
Yeah.
And it's very rare
Most
that
of the
happens.
time they don't.
Yeah,
They
very
hit-
rare.
They hit the places that are still recovering from the last one.
Yeah, the mobile home parks and the retirement communities or whatever. I don't know.
I don't think it seeks out.
Yeah, but
elderly.
I've never been a big like, hey, let's shelter in place type thing. If I had a tornado shelter, I don't know that I would use it.
Oh, there's too many spiders in them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got them at every single fire station in the city has them.
I've seen the one by
And
my house.
we clean it. We have to clean it out once a week, and every week you go in there and it's just spiders, spider webs. All
I'll
over
take
the
my
place.
chances.
You take your chances with the tornado.
Yeah.
Versus a couple of
I would.
spiders.
You want
Hey.
to talk about my absolute nightmare? Put me in an enclosed, dark place with a bunch of spiders. I'd rather climb to the tallest pine tree and ride out a tornado than get in
That'd
a
be
bunker,
funny.
a dark bunker with spiders.
Would you yell hoo-wee when you
If I had to,
when you're on top of the
if that was part of the stipulation to not have to go into the spider
Yeah.
pit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of this hat, we were talking about this hat earlier. We went to Buc-ee's. That's where I found this hat.
Oh my gosh.
And I got me another Yukon cup.
You got a
They're still
Yukon
on sale.
cup. Got Jason some clothes.
Yeah, got him a Bucky shirt with like
all
some
that
flamingos and stuff.
beef jerky you've been eating.
Oh boy, that beef jerky.
So
is
you
good.
went like straight up tourist to Buc-ee's.
Oh
and
yeah,
bought all their stuff.
Hey, stimmy baby, we got our stimmies
Oh
in.
my gosh.
You got to stimulate the economy. Let's
I'm
stimulate
gonna
it.
stimulate my Roth IRA. That's what I'm gonna stimulate.
We stimulated the fire out of Buc-ee's.
They need it.
Yeah, which I mean,
They're struggling.
there was some stuff that we were just, it was a vacation, and so we felt like splurging a little bit. We went down to, we were in Mobile for the most part, stayed at the Battle House in downtown. Pretty cool place if you've never been. It's like a historic building downtown that they turned into a hotel, nice hotel. And then we went to Gulf
Sounds like a
Shores.
Stephen King movie.
It could have been. We went to Gulf Shores, rode the ferry from Gulf Shores over to Dolphin Island.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she had never been, so we did that, and then drove back up to Mobile, and then hopped over to New Orleans
And that's
for a few
not
days.
like dolphin.
No, yeah,
Dolphin.
we did see a. She corrected me. We saw a porpoise
Oh, porpoise.
while we were on the ferry.
So
It's a dolphin. Yeah, but it's a porpoise.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my
But
life.
look at that dog. No, that's a canine.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, okay. So it's a
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, no, that's not a dog. That's a schnauzer. Oh, excuse me. Didn't realize.
Well, no, porpoise is the above the specific. So it'd be like, oh, look at that house cat. No, that's a feline.
Yeah, that's
So it's a cat.
Yeah, that's
So it's a house cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Speaking of ridiculous,
I don't even want to give this guy the time of day. But
yeah. So
did you see me sit up?
I did. You got to pay attention now.
I'm so angry.
You got to pay attention. So I'll say I found this guy on TikTok the other day who
It's everything wrong with TikTok. It's everything wrong with everything.
claims to be a pastor,
Yeah, don't even call him that.
but he has some thoughts about Jesus. And immediately when I saw this, like 1,000 red flags went off in my head.
Yeah.
What concerns me too is this has 32,000 views right now.
I'm glad it's not more than that.
Yeah, but that's still a lot, honestly.
But
what's nice
we're
is
probably 10 of them.
yeah. So that video specifically has 32,000, but then the response that I saw to it had 181,000. So that makes me feel a little bit better that more people are seeing the response to it than they are just watching the video and then getting caught up in the video.
I didn't time out my water right because we just got started. I'm out of water.
Oh my gosh.
It's fine.
But so we're gonna play I'll have a link to the video in all the stuff in the notes for all this, but not gonna.
When you hear this guy's voice, you won't need to see him because you'll be able to get a pretty good picture of what this doofus looks like. I hate it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So we'll listen to what he has to say.
Yeah, I'm not going to be kind to this
and
guy.
then we'll rebuttal it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know that there's a part of the Gospel of Mark where Jesus uses a racial slur? In Mark chapter 7, there's the account of the Syrophoenician woman, a woman who is Syrian and Greek, both of which there were strong biases against within the Jewish community. And she comes to ask Jesus to heal her daughter who's possessed by a demon. And what is Jesus' response? He says, "It's not good for me to give the children's food," meaning the children of Israel's food, "to dogs." He calls her a dog. What's amazing about this account is that the woman doesn't back down. She speaks truth to power. She confronts Jesus and says, "Well, you can think that about me, but even dogs deserve the crumbs from the table." Her boldness and bravery to speak truth to power actually changes Jesus' mind. Jesus repents of his racism and extends healing to this woman's daughter. I love this story because it's a reminder that Jesus is human. He had prejudices and bias, and when confronted with it, he was willing to do his work. And this woman was willing to stand up and speak truth.
No.
Did you know that?
So Jesus was a racist
Yeah.
to this guy.
So
Rebuttal.
if you follow this guy's logic, Jesus isn't Jesus, so
Yeah.
the cross isn't the cross.
Because one of the main points behind Jesus was he was a sinless man. He came and he was the spotless lamb
Yeah.
that got sacrificed. If Jesus was racist and he had sin, then he wasn't the spotless lamb.
Somebody with sin, somebody who has sinned cannot be the sacrifice to undo sin.
Yeah.
That's overarching.
Yeah.
So in general, the guy's a moron.
Yeah.
This little dweeb.
You say moron or Mormon?
Either they're both same.
Yeah.
So just from a theological standpoint, overall, that's complete garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Which is there's just like an uncountable amount of evidence for the overarching argument that Jesus sinned.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't. And there's plenty to show that. And if he did sin, then there is no Christianity. And there is no salvation. There is no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, then what? Well, he said dog. So what actually happened then?
Yeah. I think there was part of this was also taken out of concept when you look at
Context.
when
Or
you look
concept.
at the full scripture
Yeah.
and what happened before this, he didn't just say like pretty much you're a dog.
No.
He talked about we give
Jesus
scraps for
spoke
the
in
children.
parables.
Yeah. That was his big thing.
Which a parable is just a story.
Yeah.
So, when he's talking to fishermen, he tells fishing stories to explain stuff to them.
Like you ought to saw this catfish I caught the other
When he's
day.
talking to tax collectors, he uses money
You
parables.
should have saw this money I took from this guy the
When
other
he's
day.
talking to ag people, big ag,
Yeah.
he uses big ag
You
parables.
should have seen how big this cow was.
Well, ag is plants, but yeah.
You should have seen how big this eggplant was.
There you go. Yep. When he's talking to ranchers, he uses cow
Yeah,
parables.
you should have seen how big that corn was.
And that is Jesus's accent,
Yeah.
by the way.
If you
According to a
haven't,
lot of Southern Americans,
if you haven't watched Passion of the Christ, he has a very thick Southern accent throughout the entire movie.
that's why they have the captions at the bottom.
Yeah.
Not because it's in Aramaic.
Yeah, it's like
because
watching swamp people.
Yeah.
it's just
It's like he's from Appalachia.
hey y'all nigga never.
But to get back to the point,
Yeah,
Jesus uses parables to explain things to people. So she says, my daughter's possessed by a demon. Will you heal her? And Jesus says, you don't feed the food on the table to dogs. That
it's better meant for the children. I think is what the
that is because Jesus, his plan was to reach the Jews and then the Gentiles, which is everybody else, which we are Gentiles. So his first and foremost thing was to reach his people, the Jews.
Yeah.
Those are the people sitting at the table. That's who his food was for. And then she's not a Jew, so she says, well, even the dogs get the scraps.
Yeah.
That Jesus didn't call her a dog.
Yeah.
Or, even if he did, it wasn't in the context of like, you're a dog.
Yeah.
It was you
It
look
was a
up
parable.
look up the Greek, look up the Hebrew. He wasn't using a derogatory term for dog
Yeah. And you see that in her response too, because
she didn't say like,
if it would have been like,
well, you
yeah,
just called me a dog.
yeah, you just called me a.
Did you see that spit I just
did.
flew across the room?
I did. She wasn't
You
like,
just called me a dog.
You just called me a cracker.
You're supposed
How
to be-
dare you?
right.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She says, well, even the dogs.
Yeah.
She calls herself a dog.
She was speaking in the context of
the parable.
Yeah.
Even the dogs get the scraps from the table. Meaning she knows in Jesus' plan, her people are not the first people he's trying to get to. But she'll take whatever he can give.
Yeah. Which was everything that she asked.
And she knows that even the scraps that you can give me are enough.
That's like the woman who, I just need to touch the hem.
The hem of his garment.
Yeah. All I need to touch is the hem of his garment to be healed.
Because if you say that Jesus is a racist because he called this lady a dog because she wasn't a Jew, then the lady that touched the hem of his garment, he was going to be racist towards her too because she wasn't a Jew. And the Roman soldier that he heals his son from epilepsy and stuff, he was racist against that. So he shouldn't have done any of this stuff for these people.
Shouldn't have.
Yeah, but he did.
He shouldn't. Here and there's. I feel like there's a bigger, overarching parable or message to be said too. Is they weren't the chosen people. They weren't the Jews.
Yeah.
And so they didn't deserve any healing.
Right.
They did nothing to deserve the healing, to deserve the gospel, but neither do we.
Right.
Nobody deserves.
No.
And I think that was like part of the overarching parable behind the entire scripture was like, we don't deserve anything. There is nothing that we deserve.
And
Like,
that is
in-
lost in today's society.
Yeah, in our like
Ugh.
sinfulness, in our natures, in our thoughts, God sees all of those things, but he doesn't judge us by those things. He wipes all that clean, even though we don't deserve it.
Yeah.
Jesus came to give us the thing that we didn't deserve.
Yeah.
And he did that with this in a parable like this with that woman.
So when this lady says, well, even the dogs get the scraps from the table, the crumbs from the table, she is not speaking truth to power.
Yeah.
First off, quit using buzzwords that are cool right now to
Yeah.
try and explain something.
Yeah.
That's not what she did. She said, I understand that your healing and stuff is not meant for me yet, but I'll take whatever you can give me.
Yeah.
And I trust that that's enough because of who you are.
Yeah.
And even so, he talks about Mark, the passage of Mark. It's also recorded in Matthew, and in Matthew, it says, and Jesus said, like, because of your faith, your kid's healed.
Yeah.
Because you believe that even just the scrap, whatever I can give you, is going to be enough.
Yeah.
So shut the F up, dude.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of theological issues that he raises whenever you like really look into him. Yeah. But yeah,
But if you can't get these people to listen to common sense, you're definitely not going to get them to look into theology.
yeah,
So
for sure.
it's a moot point.
Yeah, which he graduated from Moody Bible College. I've heard of.
Seriously?
Yeah.
He's done gone off the deep end since then.
Yeah,
pal.
he's got.
That's crazy.
He received his bachelor in pastoral ministry and theology from Moody Bible Institute. His master's of theological studies focused on sexual and gender justice
Oh my
from
gosh.
the Iliff School of Theology, and pursuing his master's in political science from Eastern Illinois University. Currently resides in D.C. But I mean, you can get a master of theology from Alabama, and then he
got his bachelor's from
he got
Moody.
his bachelor's from Moody, yeah. But you can get a master's
That
in
doesn't-
theology from Alabama with it. You focusing on your, gender and stuff studies within theology or whatever.
Gender-
you determine what your
I've never heard of that where he got his master's.
Mm-hmm.
The
yeah.
school.
It looks
But-
like ILIFF School of Theology. Never heard of it either.
Any even if it's, I don't even know if it's seminary, but
Yeah.
let's just say don't send your kid to a place where they can major in some kind of current day social justice of theology.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I guess you can do whatever you want.
It's
but,
a graduate school, the Methodist Theological
Well,
School.
that makes a lot of sense.
Denver, Colorado.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He's in that half of the
But-
Methodists that have.
Yeah. Anyways, throughout all that, the story doesn't speak to Jesus being a racist. The story
No.
speaks to us being
Not
worth
deserving
nothing.
anything he can give us, and if he gives us
Yeah.
anything, it's enough.
Yeah, if he gave us a morsel, if he gave us a crumb at the table, it's
Yeah.
more than we deserved.
But if he is of sin, then it doesn't matter what he can give us because it's just like the next person on the street
Yeah.
giving you something.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm done with it. That's all right, pal.
Yeah,
See ya.
yeah. Glad to be done with you.
Yeah. Quit making videos,
Yeah, lighter topic.
please.
Let's do.
As it starts raining harder,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for this tornado.
So this is a segment I'm going to call questions I don't know the answers to, and I'm too afraid to ask. But I feel like I should know.
You're gonna ask me these questions?
I'm going to ask you some of these questions.
Am I gonna know?
I don't know. We might not, but who knows?
All right, let's have it.
We might not know.
Let's
Let's
have
either
it.
know.
I'm
AM
very stimulated right now, so I'm.
Yeah, your brain's firing on
I feel
all
good.
cylinders. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got that.
That guy woke me up.
You're woke now?
Well, no. As far as that goes, I'm in a Sleeping Beauty deep sleep.
Yeah. AM versus PM. AM and PM. What's AM mean?
Crap.
What's PM mean? After moon, before moon?
Before man.
I don't know.
Post.
Modern? I don't know.
No.
Malone? Post Malone.
Yes.
Yes.
PM.
Post Malone.
Postmortem
Post mortem.
and anti. It's anti and post. I bet.
Anti and post. I don't know.
Oh, you don't even know the
I
answers
don't
to
know.
these?
I'm just asking you
thought
questions.
You knew the answers to them.
I don't know. What?
Why would we do a segment where we don't know the answers?
Because it's funny. It's like the water tower thing. We didn't know how water towers work till like 2 episodes later. I had to ask my dad, "Hey, do you know how water towers work?" He was like, "Yeah, I built a few of them."
Anti and post. I was right on half
What?
of it.
What's the other part of it? Moderna,
Meridium.
Meridium. Okay,
Anti-meridium, which is just like midday.
Meridium is midday.
Latin.
Okay, for mid. Okay.
So anti means before, post is after.
Hey, we're figuring things out.
Shit.
We're learning.
We're on a roll now.
We're learning.
That gay pastor's done. AMPM's done.
Magnets.
Magnets?
How do magnets work? It's two rocks that you can't, if they're strong enough, you can't move them. Anything you look up is not going to explain it to me. I can guarantee you that. Because it has to do with polarities. It has to do
Magnets are different because the molecules in magnets are arranged so that their electrons spin in the same direction.
Doesn't make any
The
sense.
arrangement, well, that'd be like, explain to me how a dam works or space works.
I don't know how a dam works.
Well, but the
holds back water.
engineering behind dams. Like, I'm
Holds
not
back
an
water.
engineer.
Yeah.
I'm not a magnet scientist.
But is not that crazy? Is
Yeah.
that not crazy? That some guy was just walking one day and he sees, oh, this is a cool looking rock. And then all of a sudden he picks up another rock and it like smashes between his fingers.
what is a magnet made of?
Rock.
Groups of metals,
Which is rock.
nickel and iron.
Yeah.
Whatever.
How does it?
I don't want to know about magnets.
It's black magic.
Yeah,
As
well,
far
it
as
is
I'm
that.
concerned, there was a wizard 4,000 years ago that came on the planet and he was like, these rocks are attracted to each other.
When did we start using magnets?
After that wizard came, for sure. I don't know exactly when. If you know the answers and you can explain it like I'm 5.
2,500 years ago, we started using magnets.
So the wizard came 2,500 years
and
ago.
it was in China.
Was it Jesus?
No,
Sure.
no, it wasn't Jesus.
You don't know.
He had bigger things to do than
Did he?
worry about rocks.
Just like while he was hey, this is a thought. When Jesus was in the desert or in the wilderness for 40 days and he's just sitting around, ain't had nothing to do, he's like, I'm going to throw him for a loop.
Now, I will say that it eases me a little bit that, like, when they first found out about magnets, they were just dragging something iron across the ground and something stuck to it.
That's insane.
Like, what in
what
the world? Yeah.
Somebody got burned for that at a stake.
Or
Guaranteeing
got drowned in a river.
Guaranteeing you.
Yeah.
Somebody was like, they're a magician, they're a witch. Burn them.
Dang.
All right. So next one. Music.
How
Why
does
hold
music
on.
work?
No. Why does music make me want to dance?
Because it was created by God.
Okay.
No,
Well, magnets were created.
I don't have snakes and scorpions.
God.
Right.
AMPM
No.
was created by God.
But music was, I don't know.
like when another one bites the dust, why does your head want to just like this?
I don't know. The old toe tap.
Uptown Funk? You're telling me Bruno Mars Uptown Funk don't make you just want to dance?
Are y'all making some stew in there or something? Smells great.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know what goes on in this place. I'm just the manager, bro. You got to talk to the president about that.
The president.
Music, don't get it.
Yeah.
Laughing. Somebody tells you something funny happened. Lana is a baby. Nobody went, hey, when somebody does something that's funny, you go, like that.
That was creepy.
Think about the first person that noticed that, though. Somebody like for the first time, somebody was like did something funny.
Well, I
and
bet
then
it
another
was-
guy was like, you'd be like, bro, back up,
I bet it was Eve
Give me a
laughing
second.
at Adam.
because he was naked.
Because they didn't know they were naked yet. There wasn't much laughing after they ate that fruit.
Probably was. But like, what makes your body just dry? Just I have to expel something from my body, some air from my body, because it was so humorous.
So that the person that did the funny thing has recognition of that, so that it's a conditioning thing.
Okay, I get that it does condition somebody, but like when somebody did something good for the first time, everybody wasn't like your hands don't just go.
You don't know that.
You have to.
You can laugh
have to
with your
force
mouth closed.
You have to. I'm just saying. You have to force yourself. Your brain has to go. Put your hands up. Clap because that was good. It doesn't like somebody
It's not
doesn't do something.
involuntary.
Yeah, it's
I
not
get-
an involuntary.
Laughing's not involuntary.
Bro, you can't stop from laughing if something's funny.
Well, that's fun, but you can also laugh I can think things are funny and not even people. Nobody would know it if I didn't say it out loud.
But there are something like stuff that just gets you, and you can't
The
like.
fact that you don't have answers for these means that, yeah, we don't know. I don't know.
Nobody knows.
Somebody does.
God invented laughing. Sure.
Sure. Unless
Sure.
dinosaurs were like, well, no, he created dinosaurs. Anyway,
Yeah.
Was that
Laughing.
it?
I don't get it.
That was your- that
well, so this one isn't a question. Well, it kind of is a question. Well, it's not really a question. I don't get paintings.
oh, definitely not.
I've never when me and Meg were looking at buying stuff for the house to like put around the house, she'll like show me a painting and I'm like,
Some
that
paintings
does
are cool.
nothing for me. A painting is cool if it looks just like a picture to me.
There you go. If I'm like, oh man, that's a cool picture, like somebody drew that.
Yeah, I'd be like, whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But you start
Other
getting
than
into abstract stuff. And I don't
yeah.
even mean like abstract like cubes or just like throwing paint on a thing, but like it's a lady in a sea and like she's sad.
yeah.
Like,
Don't
dude,
understand it.
who
It's just like
cares?
it's like, hey, look at how good I can draw.
Look at the Mona Lisa. I don't care about the Mona Lisa at all.
The only thing that is interesting about that is the fact that it looks like a real
think
person.
or that people think it's interesting. That's
Yeah.
the only, and that's
Yeah, yeah.
annoying, not interesting.
If I go to an art museum,
never,
I've been to one. It was in Nashville, and we were like didn't have anything else to do. It was like free to go in, so we're like, yeah, sure, let's go in. And I just walked around the whole time like, big deal.
yeah, we're
Whatever.
uncultured swine.
We probably
So we
are. Like if I went to what's the Monet,
yeah, I don't.
the Louvre.
Yeah,
I went there. I'd be like,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not fired up about architecture either. Like the Bean in Chicago, big shiny.
yeah, that doesn't get me either. It's just it's whatever. You built something. Good job.
If you think about it, I'm not real fired up about statues either. Like at the Walk of Champions at the stadium, all the coaches, that
Don't
just
care.
seems weird.
Yeah.
Like we made
I'm gonna immortalize you.
a
in bronze or whatever.
yeah.
I could think of better things for bronze to be used for. I don't know what they use bronze for, but I'm sure it's better than.
I can't believe these two things just got brought up in the same day for me. But I had somebody last night on my truck working, talking about how like, you know, all the statues and stuff from like Greece and Rome and Macedonia, just like all the statues from back in the day, all have the wieners lopped off of them.
Yeah.
So supposedly the Catholic Church got all of those like through history, and they weren't real big on naked bodies on display. So
They circumcised
they
them.
broke them all off,
Yeah.
and they have like a vault of statue
Just full
wieners
of
at the
penises.
Vatican. That's what I was told by an art
Yeah.
major,
That's
an art history
hilarious.
major.
That's awesome.
So yeah. And then I said, well, that's probably where they send all the priests who get in trouble, that they like get to stay in that vault and just like
Just like
be around them.
overstimulate it until you're done with it. Like if you eat at a restaurant too many times, you're done with it.
yeah.
Just hey, go sit in this vault
Or
full
they
of
like
penises.
cattle prod you in the room to where it's like a negative.
Yeah.
Be like,
Yeah,
I don't want
yeah.
anything to do with anybody's wiener.
Yeah. It's like some of them,
Anymore.
like Pavlov dogs.
But it doesn't work.
Experiments,
Apparently. If that's what they do,
apparently not. Yeah.
that doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, Catholic Church, you need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I got a buddy who lives in North Korea.
I don't believe this at all. This is a joke.
Why don't you believe me?
I told you I can tell when you're about to set me up.
I'm not setting you up.
All right.
Me and him went to fire college together.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Stop. Look, you ruined the Hitler thing last week. Let's just got a buddy in North Korea that I messaged him the other day.
What's his name? Greg Scottsdale,
Yeah.
Tom Jones,
Yeah. He's yeah.
David Smith.
I asked him how it was over there. He said I can't complain.
Oh, well, he'd be in North Korea then.
That's what I said.
South Korea's free.
I said North Korea.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, that was a joke. Yeah.
I
Can't complain because he can't.
Yep.
Literally can't.
I tell everybody the elephant joke. I've said it a million
The
times.
elephant joke. Hey,
Yeah.
that's a good joke.
A million times.
Uh,
Dang, my discernment is on point.
I'd give it away though because I can't not like.
I wasn't even looking at you.
But I was
cross-eyed.
immediately.
I was
laughed.
cross-eyed right here at this microphone.
Immediately, I
knew.
laughed. Justice League. The Snyder Cut came out last week.
Garbage.
Fantastic.
Garbage.
No. Everybody, if you have an HBO Max account, go watch the Snyder Cut.
I'd rather drink a glass of dumpster water than
fine.
waste 4 more hours on that awful movie.
I might go watch it again. It was so good.
If I needed, if I was in some situation where like, if you don't fall asleep in the next 20 minutes, you're gonna die, I'd turn it on.
That's ridiculous. Okay, so you watched the original, right?
No,
Yeah. Didn't you watch the original?
no,
You didn't?
no, and I won't, because what I've read on the internet said how much better this one was.
Yeah, this one was fantastic.
You couldn't. That'll be our would
I
you
thought-
rather. Would you rather die in a hailstorm or watch the first DC Justice League? Take me outside. Where's the hail?
I completely disagree.
Well, I'm
But,
sure.
If you watch the original, I watched the original when it came out, and I was very like underwhelmed. Like it felt just like a hodgepodge of a movie because they had another director come in and do half the movie, redo the entire movie essentially, and make it into this thing that he was trying to make it into a Marvel movie.
Well,
the
he
director.
he did not do it.
He's a Marvel director, and they brought him in to make it a Marvel movie, and this was the original that you haven't seen.
Won't see.
Won't see. And it was horrible. There were so many more, like the Flash was like this really weird, like he had all these ticks and like there was all these jokes. Like one was like he saves Wonder Woman when they're underneath the tunnel.
And he boobs
Yeah.
in her face.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Yeah.
So you have seen the
No,
movie.
I
You
researched
okay.
because I was so pissed.
Yeah. But it's like it doesn't require that like that this movie doesn't require it because and the one thing that I've heard from people who didn't like it was, oh, it's dark. It's not funny.
Oh, I don't. That's the least of my worries.
Well, that's from a lot of people that I've heard, they're like, it's a dark movie. It's not funny. It's like this is not a Marvel movie. I feel like that should have been
It
at
is
the
absolutely.
preference of the very beginning of the movie that says this is not a Marvel movie. If you want that, go watch Guardians of the Galaxy. If you want a good superhero movie, keep watching.
that's
Like
a lie.
that's just the way that I feel about it. But
I watched both Wonder Womans. I watched them in order.
I wasn't a fan of Wonder Woman's.
That was the only ones I liked.
The first Wonder Woman was better than the second
Yes,
one.
the
for
1984 one was dumb.
Yeah.
With the guy that could grant wishes. He's like
Yeah.
an evil genie.
Sure. Yeah.
It was so bad.
Gosh, it wasn't.
I thought it felt like I was watching a cartoon.
Why? What?
Why did y'all even hire actors if you're going to animate the whole thing?
Well,
Zack Snyder did 300 and
Yeah.
Okay, well that's we're
so
done
you
with
don't
those.
you don't want to watch a movie that's just CGI.
Nope.
Okay, so is that like your biggest takeaway from the movie?
No, it
Like,
was bad.
what?
The storylines were not good. You're going to make a 4-hour movie. Look, I'm spoiled on Marvel. They spent so much time developing characters and getting you into the story and caring about what happens with their with the
yeah, Iron Man
character
1, 2,
movies.
3. Yeah, Captain America, Winter Soldier,
You've
Captain
got
America, Civil
6
War.
people. You've got 5 people on this team. 6 people on this team.
That you're introducing at once.
And you don't meet half of them until halfway through the big movie.
yeah.
No wonder it was 4 hours long, and you
Well, yeah.
still didn't develop anything worth of crap. That was part of it. I do not like, and I know comic book movies have to do this to bring in the people that read comic books as adults. They make the characters weird, like the human side of them, like the Flash. That kid's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm a horrible person, whatever. I don't want to see a superhero that couldn't talk to somebody in a room when he's not running around 100 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. He's a weird kid, and he talks real fast, and he's strange. He's probably was homeschooled. Like, I get that you got to have a weird character for weird people to be like, oh, I relate to the Flash.
He was a comedic relief in most instances.
But he was not funny. The corniness.
Yeah.
We're trying to be dark. We're not trying to be funny. Good.
Yeah.
But then leave your 8-year-old jokes out of it.
Well, so one interesting part about the dissimilarities between the two movies was the whole like Flash saves
That girl.
no Flash saves the movie.
Oh, he goes back in time.
That was never in the original, and it made the movie so much. But like the last scene was Superman and Cyborg like pushing the 3 boxes apart, and then that was the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But like them, like they didn't even kill. This is the thing. They didn't even kill Steppenwolf in the original movie. They like made him fear, and then all those little monsters like
Turned on him
because they saw the fear in him, and then they like put him into like one of those little force field things where they take him out, and it was just done like it. And the Justice League movie series was supposed to be a 5-part series, like
So 20 hours.
they wouldn't have all been that long. I think if they would have had time to develop, I think one thing that happened was Zack Snyder realized this is the only time that my version of what I feel like this should be is going to be put out there. And so I've got to make it everything that I can possibly make it in this one movie, because they didn't give him enough Superman movies to develop the Superman character.
Nope.
They didn't give him any Batman movies.
Nope.
They only had Wonder Woman and Superman. That was it. They didn't give him a bunch of movies to develop these characters, and so he had to force it all into one.
And so that's
If you're going to make it a Justice League movie.
so even if you say he did the best he could, it's still
It was great. I thought it was great. I mean, Lee doesn't like fun things.
No, that's not true at all. Because
Lee didn't like WandaVision.
that movie was. I'd rather be tied to Wanda's back for the rest of my life than sit through a DC movie again. And I hate her guts. Anyway,
Winter Soldier.
the new show.
yeah.
The first episode wasn't that good.
Well, this is one thing that's interesting. So WandaVision, I read an article this week that was talking about WandaVision was a TV show, and that's all it was. But when you watch the new Winter Soldier Falcon movie, it feels like a big blockbuster movie that they're just cutting up. It's like
And adding
this is
in a
the
bunch
first
of-
part.
Bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with bad guys. I'm still on DC.
Okay.
The bad guy of the movie is like
Darkseid or Steppenwolf?
Steppenwolf.
Okay.
The bad guy in the movie that they're fighting this whole time is not even close to being like the head bad guy.
Yeah. Well, just like all the other movies.
No.
Yeah,
No.
in the Marvel movies, you had all these people that were the minions of Thanos. You had whole movies devoted to those people.
Not specifically. The
Well,
Guardians of the Galaxy was, but that wasn't Avengers were going after Ronan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where Chris Pratt does the dance off at the end and explodes.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that. It would be like, you remember in Infinity War and Endgame, the 4 like underlings for Thanos that are like his soldiers, like the one that they call Squidward, and then the big giant guy with the like.
Yeah.
It would be like if you did an Avengers movie, all of them are fighting Squidward, and they barely beat him.
Which is a thing that would commonly happen in comic books, where you have an and then you learn from that and you grow from that, and then you make another, like, because it's always supposed to be, there is no way that we can beat this guy. Like, every comic book isn't like, oh, the Squidward guy comes up In the comics, that probably would have never happened. Where the Squidward guy comes up and they've got all these people and they're fighting him, and then they just knock him over the side of the head, and then it's like, oh, well, that was a waste of $10 for a comic or whatever. It's always got to be that, like, we're struggling to beat this guy.
But it's
And
not
then
a
when the
whole
next-
movie of struggling to beat that guy.
Okay, so Ultron.
Not affiliated with Thanos.
But that was the biggest threat that they had faced. And there was no way they could do it. But then they did it. And then
But
when
he
Thanos
was-
comes along, you look at Thanos and you're like, he's a destroyer of worlds.
Yeah.
Like he crushes worlds like it's no problem. And they just couldn't beat a robot. And now they're the defeater of worlds. It's the same thing. It's every movie. It's like, because when the next Thanos level boss comes up, he's going to be even bigger than Thanos. They're going to be like, how are we going to do it? Oh, this person died. This person
I
died.
get
How
that.
are we going to do it?
I get that, but it's not the same because it would be like if you had an Avengers movie with all of them trying, they can't be Ronan, who was an obvious subservient underling to Thanos.
So I think you're not giving enough credit to Steppenwolf as a bad guy.
No,
Because Steppenwolf is he's an underling of him, but he's not, like, it's not like, oh, he's nothing compared to the big bad guy. He's still a pretty big threat.
but he's terrified of the big bad guy,
Yeah.
so he's not as powerful as he is at all.
He said he had 50,000 more planets to atone for his sins
Yeah,
against the big guy. So he is a destroyer of worlds.
yeah. Also, as far as the bad guys go in the DC movies, if y'all are gonna make what was Darkseid,
Yeah,
Was that-
Darkseid. Yeah.
if y'all are gonna try and act like he's the Thanos of y'all's thing, don't have the only two times you see him is him standing in that portal, stepping on the head of Steppenwolf, or him getting axed in the chest and being dragged off to safety by those bugs.
So then in the Marvel movies, when they're setting up Thanos as being, you saw Thanos in like 4 or 5 movies as just a snippet.
Thrashing
So
folks.
you're
though.
telling me we shouldn't have seen those people.
No,
we
no.
shouldn't have seen him in any of that.
No, I'm saying if you want me to think Darkseid is a big bad SOB, show me him being a big bad SOB.
They did.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. When he came to Earth,
And got almost killed in 5 minutes.
he was still putting up a pretty good fight.
Do you not see what I'm saying? If one of those 4 or 5 snippets of Thanos you see throughout the series is him getting his butt whooped, I'm not that worried about Thanos.
I think you're miscalculating a little bit, which
Yeah,
is fine.
You just got
Which is
shook
fine.
up. That's
I
I can
got
tell.
shook
I
up.
can tell that you just got stumped.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no,
That's fine.
no,
It's fine.
no.
That's
I
why.
didn't get
That's why we're
shook up.
having this discussion. Because you're just like, oh dang, yeah,
No,
I can see it all in your head.
no.
Okay, yeah, that's
I
right.
don't know. This is the thing. I don't have because they didn't do the Thanos. They did pieces of Thanos, but they didn't do like Thanos getting beat because Thanos has been beat before. They kind of did a Thanos has been beat when he was like a little kid or whatever. But like,
Oh, he was a little kid.
yeah, but they didn't. There were parts of Thanos' history where he did get beat, other than just by the Avengers. It's not in the movie.
Okay, we're talking about the movies.
Okay, we're talking about the movies, but you're taking what you saw in the only movie that Darkseid's ever been in, and you're like,
Yeah.
well, he's not that big of a deal.
I didn't sit
He's
around
got
reading comic books, pal.
millions of, like when they were like, all right, we're going to Earth, and they had all those freaking bad guys right there.
Me and
He's-
you are talking about the movie. The movie as a standalone thing, not talking about comic books. Or you need backstory that you don't get from the movies. I'm talking about the movies.
If
you
you would
want-
have had more backstory on Darkseid, I think it would have been like,
I do too.
it would have been a better.
I do too. But DC doesn't have that.
It's because they keep here's one big hold on. Here's one big thing about DC is it's owned by Warner Brothers, right?
Sure.
So Warner Brothers says, "Hey, we need a Batman versus Superman movie."
Awful.
It was if you watch the director's cut, it's way better. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. They take a movie and they're like, they see the finished movie. With Marvel, they don't do this. With Marvel, they're like, you're the director we want. You're the vision that we want. Run with it.
So as what we're talking about, that makes it better than DC.
They cut so much stuff out. Like the whole in Batman versus Superman where Robin was dead because the Joker had killed Robin. They didn't even go into any of that.
No.
Because it was all just like it
was too
put
it was
before
too rushed.
DC.
It was too rushed.
It got put before DC or Warner Brothers, and they're like, no, it's too dark, or it's too this, or it's too that. It's like you hired the guy, you let him write the script, you cleared the script, and then after the fact, you make him make a movie that isn't the movie that he wanted to make.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous, and I think a lot of the movies that were like the Man of Steel movie, I love the Man of Steel movie. I don't think there was anything in the Man of Steel movie that I was like, don't like that.
Yeah. I don't like the bad guy actor.
Zod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual actor.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
He's annoying.
Yeah.
In almost every movie he plays in, he's annoying.
I think if they would have let Snyder or all these other guys make the movies that they wanted, they would have, but they were always looking at Marvel and going, it's got to be funnier. Or it's got to be this. Or it's got to be.
Yeah.
That's what literally conversations were. It has to be. You need to make a Marvel movie, essentially.
And I'm not going into these trying to laugh.
Yeah.
So and I'm talking about the Marvel movies now because nothing in DC made me laugh. But in the Marvel movies, when they would throw in something funny, it was that much funnier because I wasn't expecting stuff to be funny.
Yeah.
Like all of the Guardians of the Galaxy ones are funnier.
Thor Ragnarok was
funny.
Yeah.
But not like we're trying to be a superhero comedy.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the Marvel movies are more like campy. Like they're more like family oriented.
Yes.
And it's like, so it's easier to be lighthearted.
Yeah. But
it's
like
easier to throw in
when
jokes.
Iron Man calls that dude Squidward in Infinity War.
Yeah.
That was hilarious because it was like organic and not trying to be funny.
But think about this too. So Thor at that point had 2 movies, I think, already.
3
movies. So you had seen Thor develop and you were more likely to enjoy
That's
Thor.
why they're so good.
Yeah. I thought
for what DC could do, you're saying it was good for what they had.
I thought that the Justice League movie was fantastic regardless. I wish there would have been more movies to make those characters more of like somebody that you could fall in love with, somebody that you could laugh about, somebody that you could, but they just didn't give it, and they're not going to. The Flash movie is the next movie I think that's on the docket.
Not a chance.
It's going to be interesting to see because it's the Flashpoint story, which is he goes back in time. Flash's big thing is like he wants to like avenge his mother's death and like make his dad like get out of jail.
Prison. Yeah.
But he goes back in time and fixes that so his mom doesn't die and they grow up a good family or whatever, but then everything else is different. And so there's going to be the Flashpoint series is going to go through all that, and then there's going to be a lot of like Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman in one of like the multiverses because he's going to keep going back and trying to like fix stuff. Michael Keaton will be in it as like a Batman Beyond type. So he'll be like the older Bruce Wayne. There'll be a younger Batman that he's like coaching through stuff.
And you can't do anything now because Pattinson is the next Batman. So what are we going to do?
It's going to be a different. See, that's
annoying.
That's how
too.
they're getting around that. Is the Flashpoint series will break into a multiverse.
So is Jared Leto still the stupid Joker?
I hope not.
Even though it's
I don't
complete,
like Jared Leto.
It just y'all got to pick a lane and
I just don't like Leto.
Go.
I just don't like Leto.
I do like that like when somebody gets hit with a sword, you see them be cut in half. I did like that.
It's darker. It's grittier. That's just
Yeah,
that's
no,
the-
that was that. I
that's
did like
the
that.
DC way.
I did like that.
Yeah.
Cyborg has dad problems,
Yeah.
has childhood trauma, and now he could do anything he wants. That whatever. Cyborg was kind of annoying. Wonder Woman was cool. I wish she and Ben Affleck would progress, and they like each other.
Yeah.
That was cool.
So the interesting thing,
I liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
Oh, I loved Ben Affleck.
That was
I
cool.
thought he was a fantastic Batman. They watered him way down in the original.
Yeah.
In the Batman versus Superman, he got way watered down, and that was all DC. That
Yeah.
was or Warner Brothers. They did all that.
Yeah.
But one thing that would have been interesting if Snyder would have gotten to make the movies that he wanted to make was Batman and Lois Lane, after Superman dies, they form a connection. And then when they were supposed to bring Superman back, he had to like fight with, I'm losing the woman that I love because there's no way she's going to want me over Superman
Yeah.
when Superman comes back. So he would have had to fight through that and like, what's the good for the planet that needs to be done?
Yeah.
And then Superman, I think, finds out. And then that's like the dark Superman, like in the
I hate
epilogue
that.
or whatever. I wouldn't have been as fired up about that, like the whole
Yeah.
like post-apocalyptic.
I don't really like that at any point your main superheroes could turn bad just at the drop of a hat.
Well, that was because of the anti-life equation. When they go back and find the anti-life equation, they can turn Superman into a bad guy.
I
is
get-
what the
Yeah,
what
I
that
get all
would've
that.
amounted
That's frustrating
to.
to me. That at any point, somebody that I like
yeah
could start killing everybody else. That's just frustrating. And I get it. It's darker.
Yeah.
The whatever. I get it.
Didn't that happen at one point in Marvel?
I mean, characters do like go off the deep end and stuff. Like Thor goes off the deep end, and they have to go
Yeah.
get him to bring him back to fight. And the Hulk, the whole time, is back and forth.
Yeah.
but it's not like the Hulk turns and then is only angry at the rest of the Avengers. Like that's so
feel like-
frustrating.
I feel like there was one of the Marvel movies where like one of the main characters, something like that happened. I could be wrong. I'll have
Loki
to-
turned some of them in that first Avengers movie with that staff.
that might have been what it was that I was
like
thinking.
the bow and arrow guy turns bad,
That might have been what I
and the
was thinking.
doctor turns bad.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
No, not Doctor Strange.
Dr. Banner,
No, they're all doctors.
yeah.
Dr.
all-
Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
They add
He's a
more
good
flavors to
superhero.
Dr. Pepper.
He's a good superhero, Dr. Pepper.
23 is enough, guys.
23 and me.
And it all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
What else we got?
So if we have been doing would you rathers.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a would you rather. This is just a hypothetical question that I
right.
think would have some good insight to it. And if you're listening at home, you can, if you're this far in, shoot us what you think too. So you have $1 million and you have a set of keys that you have to hide.
Is it like janitor's keys or like a house key set?
It's in between.
Okay, so
It's not 50. It's not
It's a
50
pretty good
keys.
set of keys, though.
It's not 50 keys, but it's probably about 8.
8 keys. All right.
8 keys. You got 8 keys on a key ring. You have to hide those keys from the entirety of the FBI for 7 days. And if you do it successfully, you get $1 million.
Does the FBI have a metal detector, like a key detector?
They have a metal detector. They don't have. It's current day FBI.
I don't know what current day FBI
Unless there's
has.
some, maybe they do have a thing that they can only see keys through something, but I think it's just
All right.
a metal
I've got
detector.
2 answers that are both funny.
Okay, so and we preface this with you can't destroy them
Yep.
and you can't throw them in the ocean where you can never find them.
You have to go
again.
get them at the end
You
of the
have to
7
go
days.
get them at the end of 7 days. Yeah.
One place I'm hiding them is the bottom of Lana's diaper genie. Because if that thing sits there 7 days with them diapers in it,
Yeah.
nobody's going and digging around in that
I don't
thing.
know. FBI, they're
I'm just
pretty,
saying.
they're pretty jam up
You
on
hadn't
disgusting
You hadn't
things.
been in her room with a full diaper genie.
I and the FBI, I'm sure, have been in rooms with dead bodies,
Okay.
and
It's
I-
comparable.
I'm sure it is
Comparable.
but we work through it.
Yeah. Especially if she eats a lot of bananas that week.
Uh huh.
2,
Bananas make it bad. I'm gonna start doubling down on bananas.
They ferment. You want it to smell worse?
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay, eat a bunch of bananas and prunes and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, or I just give them to Hillary Clinton for a week.
They'd end up dead.
Yeah, the keys would end up dead, or
Yeah.
the FBI would end up dead.
The
Yeah.
FBI would end up
I'd give
dead.
them to her,
Yeah.
and then be like, "I'll give you half if you give them back to me at the end of the
She
week."
don't care nothing about that.
I know, but that's the only way I'd get them back from her.
She'd keep them just so that
'Cause
you
she-
couldn't get $1 million.
Yeah. I would, but yeah, I'd give them to Hillary.
Yeah.
She'd find a way to hide them bad boys.
What? So, other than those things, do you have anything else that you would like where you would think about putting them?
Bezos' accountant. I'd give them to him.
Look, that you can currently do. You can't call up Bezos' accountant today and say, "Hey, I got to hide these keys."
I would. I'd bury them.
Just in a random.
I mean, somewhere where I could get to them, but I'd take them out in the woods, geocache them things
Yeah.
without the coordinates.
So, I'll say this to rebuttal. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I don't know.
They find
I know that's,
bodies that people bury
I
within
get
a
you.
week.
Yeah.
So,
but this isn't. This is a set of keys.
yeah. But if that's like the nuclear launch keys and they lost them or something, they're going to find them keys.
Yeah. Yeah.
They would tear your house apart. That's for sure.
Exactly. So like,
You couldn't put them at your house.
I'd bury them in concrete.
I couldn't put them. You couldn't put them. Well, if you buried them in concrete, here's the thing: your cell phone tracks everywhere you go. Your car tracks it. So
I'm walking.
you would have to. So it'd be somewhere that you could be able to walk because there was a woman recently who was from Florida and she drove to Alabama and she had murdered her daughter in Florida, drove to Alabama, buried her daughter in a place in Alabama, but it was like a 2003 Camry or something like that. And they could go back in the computer and see where that car had been and then saw where the trunk latch opened and then the trunk was shut again. The door was open, all that stuff. So they could if you took your car and your car is newer than 02, they're going to be able to figure that out. So you would have to, there would have to be some way that you could physically get there other than a car.
How
and
long
you
do I
can't
have
take
to
your
hide it?
phone. A day?
24 hours.
24 hours. But then as soon as they pick you up, at the end of that 24 hours, they're picking you up. So if you just said, I'm going to walk as far in the woods as I can and I'm going to bury them right there, at the end of that 24 hours, if you're still in that location, they're picking you up from that location.
Yeah, so I'm walking 12 hours, or I'm walking 10 hours.
Walking 10 hours and then 10 hours back.
4 hours
Yeah.
burying.
So you'd make it to the end of the block and back.
Me, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's an interesting. It's a thought provoker.
I'd probably end up slinging them under my house. Honestly,
Yeah.
or I'd bury them 10 hours away in concrete.
Get you pay for a bus ticket
I get no
with
because they can
straight
track
cash.
that. Well,
Just
they
do it in
cameras.
That's true.
I'm gonna just walk off into the woods.
This goes to this. This is what this proves in my head. There's no way to get away with murder. Almost no way to get
Pretty
away with
much,
murder.
not in the U.S.
If you kill somebody,
Go to another country and do it.
yeah, got to
Push them off of a
because
cruise.
I
cruise ship.
honestly I can't think of I was gonna say the only thing that I in my head that I would do is I would take them to a construction site. I would walk from here to a house that's being constructed somewhere in the city. And then I would either put them in the foundation of the concrete or just under the house somewhere. Because
Right.
either way, if you put them under a random house, they're not going to do like a 10-mile search.
Right. Yeah.
So I think I would put it at a house that's just being constructed.
I'm going to
and then
do
I'll
the
walk
best
back,
I can to get off the grid for 10 hours
Yeah.
in one direction.
which is going to be hard.
Right.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'd swallow them.
I think they'd do an X-ray. and figure that out pretty quick.
Not if they don't know.
If they have 7 days
But
to
if
figure
they're
it
using
out.
if they're using just FBI tactics when they're interrogating somebody, they don't X-ray them.
No, but if that was any thought.
Where'd you
in
hide
a-
the drugs? Well, they
Bro,
don't
you know
take
how
you to
hard
the
it'd be
doctor.
to swallow 8 keys.
Well, it's for $1 million. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. But it's going to pass through your body.
Not if I take a bunch of Imodium first. Or what's that drug you can get from the doctor?
Weed?
No.
No.
The stop up drug.
Oh,
You get it by prescription. It's
Yeah.
a tiny little pill.
crack.
You doofus. You know what I'm talking about.
Meth.
Yes.
Yeah, meth. Get some meth.
Swallow a bunch of keys and take a bunch of meth. Yeah.
They'll never figure it out.
And they'll probably get hung in my stomach
Yeah, you'd probably have to have an exploratory surgery to get them things out of there.
afterwards with
Yeah.
my $1 million.
I did see an interesting thing. This is the last thing because
We got to
we're
go.
yeah.
And I got to get home.
There's a tornado
Get my
coming.
bicycle helmets.
Yeah. I saw an interesting. It didn't make me feel any more. I didn't care anymore about it, but it was a video talking about how rappers and like young athletes or whatever make $1 million, right? And they're like, they go broke the next day. Okay, so we'll say somebody hands them $1 million. 30% goes to their management.
Yeah.
So $300,000. Then you are in the tax bracket to where you're charged 48%. So
At
we'll make
least.
that. So we'll make that 50.
But that's 50 on the 100, not the 700.
Yep.
So now you're 700 minus 500, you're at $200,000.
Yeah.
And you
And
just bought
A
your
Lamborghini
aunt a house
or whatever. Yeah. Because I mean, somebody if somebody comes to me and they said, "Here's $1 million," I'd be like, "I have $1 million."
No, you have $600,000
Yeah.
or $500,000.
But in my head, I'd be like, "Oh, I've got $1 million. I'm set." But then this other guy, my agent or whatever, comes along and says, "Hey, you remember you owe me 20% for this that I helped you set up." So I give him 20%, and then you're left with 200,000. Like, but you just you're spending it like you've got $1 million.
And then and that money and the 500,000 ain't due till next April,
Yeah.
which you definitely ain't gonna have.
Oh God, no.
By
If you
next
gave me $1
April.
million, my first reaction wouldn't be taxes.
No, that's why you got to specify
Yeah.
tax exempt.
Yeah, tax exempt. But
This
is-
$1 million
is
to
not
hide
tax
from the
exempt.
FBI.
That's tax exempt.
That's tax exempt.
Yeah, that's a gift from the government for
hiding from the government.
hiding from the government.
They
'Cause you
reward
just-
me with
yeah.
no tax. They double the tax, and I'd get $40 of that $1 million.
Get $40 out of $1 million.
Yeah, I just swallowed 8
Yeah.
keys
for 40
for
bucks.
$40
I've done worse
with
for
no
less.
alcohol. Yeah, I've done a lot more for a lot less money.
Yeah. But anyways,
Give them to Hillary,
give them to Hillary.
She'll take care of it.
She'll find somewhere to put them.
man. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyways.
yeah. Episode 53.
Yeah. Do you remember what the channel was? Me neither. I have no idea.
I told you, I'm out.
Maybe
on
the Food
50s.
Network. I don't know.
49 was the Food Network for us.
I have no clue.
I think I can't.
It might have been the Outdoors Network or something
We
because
didn't
it's
have
right
that.
next to Speed Network.
I don't either.
That was a long time ago, buddy.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank y'all. Be safe. If you're listening to this tomorrow, be safe yesterday. But no, thank you for letting us into your hearts and minds and your places of work, your vehicles, your homes,
That's the sound a butthole makes.
and your
And your buttholes.